With rumours circulating about Cyberpunk Orion, my choice to re-traumatise myself by watching Edgerunners again, and the release of Update 2.2, I had the itch to play Cyberpunk again. And yes, something is different about me. Can you guess what it is? That's right, I shaved my ass. As always, I started thinking to myself how I could switch up a playthrough. So I started asking myself some questions like, what if V couldn't fire a single bullet? What if V could only use combat quick hacks? What if V couldn't sneak at all? And then the all-important question that I know has been on everyone's mind. What if V was a muscle mummy? Yeah, I know, you're all thinking it, I get it. Obviously, you can't make money in-game by posting thirst traps, but you can certainly center a build around it, for the most part anyway. What build could I actually create? Like, what weapons and what cyberware could I use? These are all questions that I need to work on the answers for, but first things first, I have to actually create V. I did think, like, what kind of vibe, what kind of theme I wanted to go for, and I settled on a goth muscle mummy. For that +5 to intimidation and +10 to money making potential, but the options are pretty slim for that kind of thing. They did recently add new cosmetics in 2.2, which is also partly why I wanted to play again, because I am a sucker for content creation. Fortunately, they did add a new tattoo style that will be perfect for the style and the build I'm going for, so that was good. And also, just to clarify, I've chosen the Street Kid storyline, and I'm playing on very hard because I'm not a little bitch. Once the character creation was done, I had to blitz through the tutorial mission, which I've done hundreds of times, so I've summarised it nicely for you here. It starts with broken nose. Slimy man wants a car. Steal the car. Man appears to take the car.
Get the fuck out.
Police arrive to settle our little dispute. Broken nose part 2. Man is friendly now.
Let's go have some lunch. You would not believe my mama's titties.
And time for chili, I guess? But yeah, that pretty much sums up the Street Kid intro mission. But then after that, you're then up against the initial prologue type mission, which again, I've done hundreds of times. So I've summarised it nicely for you once again. Take the lift, let ourselves in. Find the wrong naked dead person. Give this man a chiropractic appointment. Bang, bang, bang. Boom! Big boss, big gun. Rugby tackle the big boss. Find the right naked dead person. Send them to A&E. Drive home. These men want their naked dead person back. Make it home, and time for bed. And there we go. This is the majority of the tutorial-like missions done, and we're now left to roam through Watson, which is the northernmost district of Night City, and we are contained within Watson due to a police lockdown that gets lifted further into the story. After going to speak to our Ripperdoc about our varying medical issues, we go and speak to Dexter Deshawn, who is a local Ripper. No, he's not. We go and speak to Dexter Deshawn, who is a local fixer who has got a big job planned for us. The job is pulling off a big heist against Arasaka, one of probably the largest corporation in Night City, and he talks us through how we have to prep for it. But naturally, as one does, I'm going to ignore the immediate storyline and go and complete all of the side missions or gigs around Watson to get myself leveled up with some better gear. There's about 23 gigs to get from Regina Jones, a fixer who is local to Watson exclusively, unlike Dex. So I start running through all of the gigs she offers, including, but not limited to, stealing a man's eyeball back after he lost it in gambling, assisting a doctor by helping her patient out with her headache,
That's enough risk for one day.
What have you done?
and respectfully asking this murderous lady to calm herself down. In between all of these gigs, I managed to snag myself some new gear, a tech sniper rifle, a tech shotgun, and a tech pistol, all of which I'm not entirely sure if I'm sticking with. But most importantly, the Gorilla Arms cyberware, which significantly improved my punching power, which is perfect for the muscle mummy build we're going for. And it was at this point I decided to go and test out these new monkey mallets that I had found myself with. So I went to this street fight where you gamble on beating your opponent, basically. Although this opponent is 2 people, but technically 1 person, it's like a whole thing. Naturally, I rail these 2 into next Tuesday and collect my winnings. By this point, I had completed all 23 gigs for Regina, so my level was pretty much as good as it can be. Doing all of her gigs earned me a nifty little piece of cyberware, which was nice. So I decided it was time to actually start, doing the story and prepping for the heist. First things first, I went to Lizzie's Bar, which is a local joint that, in a sense, operates in VR lap dances, if VR was on steroids, basically. I met with Evelyn, the person who the heist is actually for, and she took me to Judy, who is a techie who tunes the VR experiences, or BDs, which means brain dances, basically. Once I scouted out Konpeki Plaza, the location of the heist, inside the brain dance itself, I then left Evelyn and Judy to their own devices, and it was at this point I was toying around with the Vortex mod manager, just for some basic visual / cosmetic mods that I'd never really looked at before. Just it makes everything look a little bit better and run a little bit better. So in case the change in visuals confuse you, don't worry, you're not having a seizure. Plus, I got myself a snazzy new haircut, which much better fits the theme of the build. After all that, we had to go and get our hands on the combat bot, a special prototype bot that we need that'll allow us to infiltrate Konpeki Plaza's defences. And it's currently in the hands of Maelstrom, which is a gang of freaky ass criminals that have a weird thing about LED lights.
Name's Dum Dum. Now couch. Planet.
In order to make this mission go a little bit smoother, I went and met with Meredith Stout, who is the person that works in Militech that is responsible for losing the bot to Maelstrom in the first place. Meredith had decided that she didn't need her hands and knees anymore, but she didn't seem overly bothered by the strange bodily experience, whether this was just a regular game glitch or associated with a mod that I installed. I've got absolutely no idea. After I spoke with the strange floating lady, I went to meet with Jackie, our friend who gave us chili, to go and head into the processing plant where Maelstrom were hiding, to go meet with the Maelstrom boss man. I did try to talk it out with them, but after giving their boss, Royce, a new hole to breathe through, I don't think they were really in the mood to chat with me anymore.
Bang.
We fight our way out of the Maelstrom den to be met with Meredith outside, who seems to have fixed her joint problems, which is fortunate because it's highly likely she's going to be relevant to our Muscle Mummy build later in the game. If you know, you know. But with that done, that concludes the prep for the heist. So after receiving a compliment on the size of my lady balls from Mr. Deshawn,
You got some balls, Miss B.
it's time to go meet up with him at the Afterlife, a club where mercenaries or mercs go to find work and obviously drink. We chat with Dex to discuss how we're getting into the hotel, and then we're off. Similar to the intro missions, I'm not going to show you the full heist simply because it takes a while and I'm really trying to work on my viewer retention, so I will summarise it, just not as briefly as earlier. First things first, we waltz through the front door, posing as arms dealers as not to raise suspicion, as we are taking a military-grade combat bot in our luggage. Then we head up to the room when we use our new little robot friend to disable the hotel's netrunner, while T-Bug, our netrunner, hacks into the local subnet to get controls of the security system that's in the target's room. Jackie and I have a nice heart-to-heart, and then T-Bug tells us it's time to get our asses moving. We head up there, I nick an iguana egg that's on the side, and I also nick the target's clothes, because I'm fairly sure they're unique, but I could be wrong. And I also nick his weapon as well, because that is unique, and I know that for a fact.
Looks like Yorinobu left us a parting gift.
Ain't much. A little left to do.
And then we go and pick up the item we're actually there to steal, which is the Secure Your Soul relic.
100%. Guess that's a yes.
Good, let's go.
But then, oh no! The target is coming up to the room in the elevator, so we go and hide in the pillar thing that is somehow transparent on the inside. Target's in the room, and then the target's daddy shows up, and they have some quality time, and the son, Yorinobu, hugs him so tightly because he missed him so much that he simply dies. They leave the room, and then naturally I go and loot the corpse and yoink all the valuables off of it. And then head up to his transport to also grab a unique weapon in there. Then we have to get out of the hotel via the roof, and we get stopped by a large drone who starts speaking Japanese to me and then tries to fill me full of new breathing holes. So we jump, We fall. We land. The relic is then damaged, so Jackie has to slot it into like his little neck port thing. I don't know. His little neck USB. We make our way down and out through the hotel, taking out a Minotaur, which is a big mech that apparently just falls from the ceiling. We hop into our taxi, hit a little bit of a speed bump in the form of Adam Smasher, this giant mech freak. And then we drive away, and I have to shoot down some drones that are chasing us. And then also not to diminish the, emotional taxing of the scene, but at this point, Jackie's dead, because he was bleeding out, so no more chili for us. We make our way back to Dexter Deshawn, who starts freaking out because it makes it look like we killed Saburo, the Emperor, the dead daddy.
Of the fucking Emperor, His Majesty.
We go and freshen ourselves up in the mirror, only to get sparked across the jaw by Deshawn's muscle, and then Deshawn shoots us and leaves us for dead.
No blaze of glory for me.
And then we go into some strange memory sequence with a very familiar sounding voice in our head.
I'm here to say goodbye to all of
Then we wake up in a junkyard and crawl ourselves out just to see Deshawn and Takamura, Daddy's bodyguard. After having a little chat, Takamura opens Deshawn's third eye with some very intense meditation.
you. You and me figure.
And then drives away with us in the front seat. We do lose consciousness and then regain it just as Takamura is in his very own Fast and Furious movie, apparently. We deal with the attackers, and then I once again decided to have a little nap.
What are you doing? Hey!
And I wake up back at the Ripper dock, and then eventually get taken back to my apartment and get put to bed. I wake up just to find I'm having hallucinations about Keanu Reeves, or Johnny Silverhand in this case, who is a rocker boy by day, amateur terrorist by night.
No, wait.
Bada bing, bada boom, I'm back awake and into the rest of the game, full Night City unlocked for me to roam. And that is exactly why I didn't go into full detail about the heist. The video would have been way longer. So, obviously at this point, the world is my cyber oyster, as it were. I can do what I want. First things first, I need a couple of things. I need a better car, some better cyberware, some better gear, and a better apartment. Because this dead-ass apartment is really just not doing it for me. Moreover, I need to decide what I actually want the final build to look like, so I can start pushing towards getting those weapons. Obviously, I've got my gorilla arms, which I'm now pretty much set with, beyond just upgrading them as I level up. I will admit I'm quite liking the tech shotgun, which gives me a reason to keep pushing on the body perk tree, which is good, so I think I'll keep with that. Rather typically, the only iconic tech shotgun, I think, is found at the start of the DLC, so I'll just have to use regular ones for now. I could get an iconic regular shotgun fairly easily, specifically Guts, which is Rebecca's shotgun from the Edgerunners TV show, but I'd rather not cry every time I have to shoot an enemy with it, so I'll just stick to the tech ones. R.I.P. Rebecca. I also really like using the tech sniper rifle for a multitude of reasons, partly because it actually gives me a bit of long range, having using fists and a shotgun, but also, who the fuck doesn't like a sniper rifle that charges up? That's sick. Plus, there's actually an iconic one I can go and get pretty much immediately. That was my first move. I drove down here on the map to this activity, as I was fairly sure this is where you get the blueprint. Quickly realised I was in fact in the wrong place and went to an activity higher on the map. I sniped out most of the enemies and then rushed the last two, but I couldn't find the boss that had the blueprint. I could hear them quivering in their little leather boots, presumably because they didn't want to get gorillaed. And rightfully so. I found them cowering at the bottom of the steps, fearful of the monkey-fueled fate that awaits them. There's the Breakthrough, an iconic tech sniper rifle that offers higher damage as well as better penetration for hitting enemies through cover. Basically, that leaves the third slot. My initial thought was just to stick with it and go with the tech pistol, because pistols do share a perk tree with snipers. But I did think it might be good to have some kind of melee weapon as well. At first, I thought knife, but then that would require a whole separate perk tree. And then I thought sledgehammer, but that was, too clunky and undignified. And then I had an idea. I made my way up to this road here in Santo Domingo and started clambering my way across these rocks. I whipped out my shiny new sniper rifle and sent this little fella to Jesus. With a great amount of difficulty, I hopped over to where his body lay, and there it was. The most beautiful weapon I've ever seen. Perfect for the muscle mummy build. If you close your eyes and imagine, you might almost think it was a lightsaber. I mean, imagine getting bum rushed in an alley and someone bashes you across the jaw with this bad boy and knocks you out cold. So with that done and dusted, I'm going to go and buy myself a new apartment that serves almost no function except for looking cool. Being a street kid, I thought the Hayward apartment was probably the best choice, and it is one of the better looking ones by my own taste. So I paid the rent, took the elevator, and here we are. I had a quick look around. We've got a coffee machine, we've got a pool table, and we've got a TV. And to be honest, with that, I'll probably call it there. Obviously, this video was kind of a weird hybrid. It wasn't as formal as like a build video, but it's also not as laid back as a regular playthrough. So who knows if it'll even work. I certainly don't. The next part of this, I will probably be doing at least similar to this style. And then once I hit the Phantom Liberty DLC, I will dial it back a bit. Still not a full Let's Play, but just probably a little bit less structured than this. Perhaps just combine a face cam and a voiceover as a general mix. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very soon.
I wanna move your way, no roof might cave in. All of these snakes in the wild, I'm about to lose my brain. Tell me who gon' save me. I'll never let these stop me.